Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Looking at Louisville. I'm Chaz.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Zach.
And we are here at Sway,
Which stands for Southern Way.
Which is right here at the Hyatt Hotel in downtown Louisville on 4th Street, right next to the Louisville Visitor Center.
Now, Stacy, from what I gather, we're going to take a little taste tour of Louisville, right?
We are, Chaz, because as Zach and I were talking about earlier, what is that one thing that everyone does when they're on the road?
Sleep.
Actually, it's eat. We like to eat.
We like to eat.
And drive.
And drive.
That's
or
right.
Fly. We do a lot of eating in this episode, obviously. We usually like to pair an attraction showcase with a dining segment. And we thought, we'd like to show viewers what are those unique things, those regional favorites that stand out about Louisville. What makes Louisville's dining scene truly authentic and unique? So we're going to set out to kind of put those all in one tidy package in this podcast.
But how are we going to do that? What are we going to do?
Well, we're going to do a couple of things, Chaz. As you know, we've got some footage from some past episodes where we've gone to the Brown Hotel and had the hot brown. We've had Benedictine at, where it's home and things like that. But we are going to go do a tour of the Derby Pie production facility, Kern's Kitchen. And then we thought we'd make it easy on folks and ourselves and hop on a bus and do a taste tour. So we're going to join the folks with city taste tours as well. We've got a lot to do in this podcast.
Well, let's hit the road.
Let's go.
Stacy, we've got the Kern's Pie right here, the Derby Pie, the official Derby Pie. I think we need to go to the actual Kern's Kitchen and check out and see how it's really made. What do you think?
Let's go. Let's do it. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
Well, today we're baking pies, Derby Pie. We're going to probably bake about 800 pies today, and as you can see, we're a small, kind of a crafted shop. We do everything from the ground up, like Grandma used to do, only on a little bit larger scale.
And this is important because just about any visit to Louisville, especially during Derby time, is going to involve this famous pie.
Absolutely. At Churchill Downs, they serve about 25,000 slices on Derby Day alone.
When you warm it up, that's when the flavor really comes out. You get the crunchiness of the walnuts and the smoothness of the chocolate and the flakiness of the crust. So that's when you really get that trifecta.
And it was actually your grandmother, your great-grandmother, that started all this, right? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Back in the 1950s, his grandparents and my great-grandparents, the Kerns, were running the Melrose Inn out in Prospect, Kentucky, and they were looking for a signature dessert for the restaurant. So they developed this chocolate nut pie, and they didn't quite know what to call it. So what did they do in the 1950s? Every family member actually puts their favorite name into a hat, and the name Derby Pie was actually drawn out of the hat.
Well, the tour is great, and now we've made it back here to Sway. And let's talk a little bit about the history of this location, because it's kind of old but kind of new, right?
Well, that's right. It's totally new, actually. It's the Hyatt has been here for several years, but Sway is a completely new restaurant. Its focus is local, so a lot of locavore dining. Some of the things we'll talk about, all locally sourced, and all Southern.
It's a really cool restaurant. It's got, like you said, it's got that organic feel about it with the food. But when you come in here, it's very elegant and very, very nice. Big city stuff feel here.
It really is, and it's just hopping outside right now. There's people walking, there's music. It's a great atmosphere.
Oh, the view here from our table, you just feel like you are in sort of like Louisville's Times Square, the 4th Street Live area. It really is.
A lot of energy going on here. Now, we had some apps, so let's talk about the apps that we had.
Okay, we had, again, representing the best of sort of southern regional favorites and local ingredients. We had fried green tomatoes. We had deviled eggs with smoked bacon, and then we had one of Louisville's staples. I mean, this is something I was telling Zach earlier that I grew up every bridal shower, baby shower, derby party, derby brunch, you had this, and it's Benedictine, which is basically a cucumber spread. And they serve it a spread style with vegetables and crackers, and it was delicious.
Well, you know, Stacy, another great staple of Louisville is the Kentucky hot brown. And I understand you all had the pleasure. Actually, I remember watching you all experience that in a previous episode.
We did. That was a fun podcast. I think we've got some footage of that. Why don't we take a look at that, and then we'll come back here and tell you what we had for lunch.
Well, Stacy, this whole episode is about finding local treasures. And talk about a great treasure. This is the home of the hot brown, and it's known internationally.
It is. We are at the historic Brown Hotel. Started in the 1920s. Very famous, very legendary. And right now we're in the owner's cafe, Jay Graham's, where we have just completed our mountain of turkey and Mornay sauce and the roasted tomatoes. In fact, it's so famous, this dish was invented in the 1920s here in the restaurant by the chef at the time, Chef Schmidt, and he was just tired of making ham and eggs in the evening for the dinner guests, the dancing guests that were here. There were up to 1,200 that would come on a Saturday night. You know, this was before the other kind of clubs, and they were hungry, so he whipped this thing up with on toast points with the Mornay sauce, the turkey he had left over from dinner, and it was the eponymous founding of this great regional treat. And now just about any, not just Louisville, but Kentucky restaurant, sort of worth its salt and with certain cuisine style, will feature a hot brown on their menu. It's so famous they even have their own recipe card that you can pick up as you order one. Chef Laurent was telling us how they make 500 of this special dish a week.
Yeah, and especially he said during the Derby week, it's just insane the amount that they make.
400 pounds of turkey to make about 800 to 900 hot browns. It's definitely worth checking out.
Well, that Kentucky hot brown looked amazing. I am thoroughly disappointed that I did not get to do that. But I did get some fried chicken here at Sway.
That looked amazing as well.
Well, the mashed potatoes, the kale, it was to die for.
Good stuff. Well, I was very pleased with my shrimp and grits. You know, they have a lot of that around town. Jack Fry's is a favorite, but this is right up there. Just really flavorful, really light grits. Good stuff.
And I had the fried green tomato sandwich, and that was awesome. I mean, this place, the food is excellent. I recommend it highly.
Great whiskey selection, bourbon as well. In fact, the decor is a lot of like limestone and wood barrel look to it. Just a great new addition to Louisville's dining scene.
Now let's talk about dessert, because we're not having dessert here. We're going to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, they had some great ones, but we're going to go show the viewers another Louisville staple, a famous candy made right here in Louisville and still being made some generations later. Let's go. We are on East Market Street now in front of one of my favorite candy stores in Louisville, Muth's Candies. It's been open since 1921. We're here to talk about something specific that they've been making that has been around since the 1880s, and it's the Majeska. I'm going to give you guys one.
Awesome.
I love bringing writers to this location, and my kids too, to talk about this candy. You know, my grandmother still uses this as the treat that everybody gets for their birthday. And what they are, I'll open this up and show you. It's a hand-dipped marshmallow into caramel. The legend on this is a Polish actress named Helen Majeska. She was very popular in the United States. She was a Shakespearean actress. Local French immigrant here in Louisville in the 1880s was so in love with her. He wanted to create, as a lot of people did back in the day, a dish for her, a candy in her name. And he created this sweet treat. The recipe he handed down to the Muth family in the late 40s, I believe. So take a bite. Good?
Quite good.
Yeah. So what a perfect way to end a very flavorful podcast.
So for more information about this, the Majeska, or about the restaurants and all the food you're seeing this, go to gotolouisville.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And of course, you can send us an email, podcast@gotolouisville.com. So as always,
You're looking at
Louisville.
see you real soon. I love the marshmallow and the chocolate.
There you
So a great way to end the podcast, don't you think?
What?
The chocolate? Did he say chocolate?
go. I'm sweating over here.
It's caramel.